बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। वेलकम गाइस टू माय चैनल यूके एक्सप्लोर विद वकार। तो आज एक नई वीडियो के साथ आपके सामने हाजिर हुए हैं। आज हम फर्स्ट टाइम क्रूज़ पे बैठेंगे, तो क्रूज़ का टिकट वगैरह कैसे बुक किया ये उसी पे बात करेंगे। तो चलता हूँ आपको क्रूज़ दिखाते हैं।
You're going under 11 sets of bridges. River Thames very busy working river. We don't have a Titanic moment. So please remain seated. Apart from that, the only rule is when we approach bridges, I want you to wave like maniacs at the people on the bridges. This is part of some very important research we're doing. We're trying to work out who's in London. If they wave back politely, they're almost certainly tourists. If they don't wave back, or they wave back with just one or two fingers, they're almost certainly Londoners. At the time right now we have Big Ben. Although Big Ben is technically just the 13.5 ton bell inside the clock tower, which chimes the key takes its chime from Handel's Messiah. I know my Redeemer liveth. But everyone calls the clock tower Big Ben, and its official name is actually the Elizabeth Tower. It was named Elizabeth Tower in 2012 on the occasion of Queen Elizabeth's Diamond Jubilee, but to be honest, I was going to run other directions to the Elizabeth Tower. You'll get a bit of a blank look. I was directions to Big Ben. I know exactly what you're talking about. Big Ben is still the largest four-face clock in the
ये
world.
वाले साहब जो है वो ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं जब क्रूज में हम बैठेंगे तो हम कौन कौन सी जगह पे देखेंगे
7 meters.
किस जगह पे जाएंगे ये वाला सारा जो है वो ब्रीफ कर रहे हैं और इंस्ट्रक्शन दे रहे हैं कि आप बोट में बैठ के क्रूज में बैठ के कौन से काम कर सकते हैं कौन से नहीं कर सकते मीन कि आप स्मोकिंग नहीं कर सकते ड्रिंकिंग नहीं कर सकते ये जो सीट्स हैं इनके ऊपर खड़े नहीं हो
Big Ben is named after the man who was the Commissioner for Works at the House of Parliament at the time the clock tower was built. His first name was Benjamin, and I think we should breathe a sigh of relief his mother did call him Richard. This is Westminster Bridge we're approaching. If you're a fan of West Ham United Football Club, you have a bit of a tenuous link with this bridge. This bridge was built with iron supplied by Thames Ironworks. If you know your football, you know that Thames Ironworks had a football team, a works football team, which went on to become West Ham United. Hence, come on you Irons.
Bye bye.
Oh, it's right there, that rather magnificent building, that is the House of Parliament. And that's where our politicians meet to discuss, debate and pass our laws. The House of Parliament divided into two houses. You have the House of Commons, which is elected, and the House of Lords, which is not. Now, if you are a member of the House of Commons and you want to get something to eat or drink out of the terrace here, you go to that green marquee there. If you remember the House of Lords, you go to the red marquee there. They keep them strictly separate. That's a deliberate policy designed to prevent corruption. As we all know, that policy has been a roaring success. And actually, the MPs are in today. So if you are a mortgage owner, if you see Kwasi Kwarteng on Liz Truss out the terrace there, feel free to give them a hand wave or whatever hand signal you might feel is appropriate. Now this on the right, is that tiny little building? That tiny little building with the steps leading down the border. For a long time that was the smallest prison in Britain. If you were arrested for treason in this part of the city, you'd be locked in there for the night. The next morning you'd be walked down those steps, be a boat waiting for you. You'd be rowed up to the Tower of London, which is the traditional prison for trains in the city. And it's a very ancient building. It's actually older than the main House of Parliament. And so on, that's where Guy Fawkes spent his first night in incarceration. The last person to be locked up there in earnest was a suffragette, a lady called Emmeline Pankhurst. She was locked up there in the early 20th century. And that's what you call solitary confinement. Later on, rather fittingly, considering we're next to the House of Parliament, we're about to do a bit of a U-turn. Over to our left there, that modern building, that square building, that is St Thomas's Hospital. And that's where Florence Nightingale established the world's very first nursing college. There was a museum dedicated to Florence Nightingale at Tatton Hospital. The college is still running. In fact, nurses at St Thomas's are nicknamed Nightingales in respect to the place where they did their training. She was well ahead of her time. She invented the ward system, which is still used today. And she was actually more of a statistician than she was a hands-on nurse. In fact, a lot of people don't realise that's Florence Nightingale who invented the pie chart. And she was also a founder member of the Royal Statistical Society. St Thomas Hospital is also where Boris Johnson was successfully treated for COVID, or as some people suspect now, just a really bad hangover. Now the House of Parliament we see today, Parliament has met there for the best part of 1,000 years. But this isn't the original building. The original building burnt down in a huge fire in October. And that's stripped back the old days. back there we have the London Eye. Now it looks like it's not moving, it's actually travelling at a speed of 0.6 miles per hour, exactly 1 kilometre per hour. It's become very popular to get married at the very top of the London Eye, but as we all know, if you get married at the very top, it's all downhill after that. Much better view. It is in fact the tallest cantilevered observation wheel in the world. It's 135 metres tall and it's 440 feet. It takes about 28 minutes to pull back to London Eye, and for superstitious amongst you, there's no capital 13. And it wasn't even supposed to be permanent. And they just put it up there for a couple of years at the beginning of 2000 to mark the new millennium, but it proved so popular they've kept up ever since, become one of the most popular attractions since opening at the beginning of 2000. It's had over 75 million passengers. To put that in some perspective, the entire population of the United Kingdom is only a little bit over 67 million. Now ladies and gentlemen, over to our left, that modern looking building, that is Charing Cross Rail Station. It was completed in 1991, that particular building. It's supposed to represent a steam train coming out of a tunnel with a steam billowing alongside it. But I must be a bit of a Philistine because all I see is a toaster. I have to be honest about it. And these three bridges, we have the two Jubilee footbridges. They get their name from the fact they're London's newest bridges. They were put up in 2002 to commemorate Queen Elizabeth II's Golden Jubilee, as one name. Here, this next bridge, Waterloo Bridge. Waterloo Bridge is the longest bridge in London, and it's voted by Londoners as having the best views of London. So if you're ever up there, do take your cameras. The only place in London that you get views of Westminster down to the west and Tower of London City up the east. Waterloo Bridge was built during the Second World War, and as most of them were away fighting during other war work, so it was entirely built by women. At one point, 90% of the workforce was female, and it's said to be the strongest bridge across the Thames in London, so make of that what you will. Also, the only bridge in London to be built ahead of schedule and below budget, so hats off to women of England, I say. And you can tell how the woman's practical touch well if they built it with Portland stone. And that was a practical touch because Portland stone is self-cleaning in the rain. And they did all that whilst they were being shot at and bombed. But Waterloo Bridge is the only bridge in London to suffer any war damage in the Second World War. And for all those reasons, it's nicknamed the Ladies' Bridge. And why not, I'd say. Over to our left, that building there with the green dome, that is Somerset House. That is the largest 18th century building in London. There was the world's very first purpose-built office block. It's where we used to keep on our records of births, marriages and deaths, or hatched, matched and dispatched, as it was known. That is to the right there, that red brick building, that is the Oxo building. Oxo, in case you're wondering, is a brand of beef stock cube. And that building is rather controversial, because advertising has always been banned on the River Thames, and the architect got round the ban by spelling out the word Oxo in windows on all four faces of that tower, and not mentioning that in his planning application. And those windows light up at night. It's been a very effective piece of advertising, because 90 years on, Oxo is still the leading brand of beef stock in this country. And basically it's free advertising these days because Oxo sold that building many, many years ago. At the top there, underneath the glass canopy, that is a rooftop restaurant run by Harvey Nichols, where I bet they do really good gravy. Now, as I said, advertising is banned on the River Thames. The River Thames is designated a royal highway. In the days before cars, it was much quicker to travel on water than on land, and advertising is banned on all royal highways. Now, there was a court case over this. Oxo were taken to court. Though he hired a very persuasive lawyer, he successfully argued with a straight face that no, there's all a big coincidence that Oxo had ordered 12 random geometric shapes, and by sheer chance they got 4 X's and 8 O's. What else were they going to do with them? Now, astonishingly, the judge believed this. The case was dismissed. This was rather controversial in its own right. A lot of people said it was a very corrupt court case. Some people even accused the judge of holding stock in the company. Thank you. Not here a week. Now, Over to our left there we have the City of London skyline with the Dome of St Paul's. Now if you'll notice all the skyscrapers are quite some distance from St Paul's. And that's because there's an ancient law in this country that says you have to have an uninterrupted view of St Paul's Cathedral from 8 legally designated viewpoints in London. So you do all the skyscrapers over the east to avoid clashing with those lights vision. Over to our left there, the Dome of St Paul's Cathedral. Now that's actually the 5th St Paul's Cathedral that stood on that side. The first one was built in 604 AD. This one was built when the Great Fire of London in 1666 destroyed the previous St Paul's Cathedral. Now the previous St Paul's Cathedral was twice the height of this one. It was made of wood and did not survive the fire. The architect for this one, the great Christopher Wren, took 35 years to build, and the dome alone took an estimated 65,000 tonnes of stone. And as it is the second largest dome this time in the world, only St Peter's in Rome is larger. The building itself is 365 feet high. That was quite deliberate. They're trying to spread the message. The religion isn't just for Sundays or Christmas and Easter, it's for every day of the year. Of course, on July the 29th, 1981, St Paul's was the wedding of Prince, now King Charles III, and Lady Diana, one of the great globally televised events of the 20th century. Now this next bridge, this is Southwark Bridge, probably the prettiest bridge in London, built that rather pleasing Art Deco style in 1921. The only bridge in London that's still lit by gas lamps. Those are gas lamps up there. So it's very popular of an evening. The young courting couples take a romantic stroll across the River Thames. It also had a successful fair with that 1,016 feet tall. That is 309.6 feet of the Shard, the tallest building in Western Europe. Designed by the one memory named Italian architect, Mr. Renzo Piano. It's a combination of offices, apartments, restaurants. There's a hotel in there. The hotel takes up 18 stories of the building. The Shangri-La. Now the Shard has 72 floors. There was going to be 73, but that's another story. Up with the 70, which is like a cruiser, all 11,500 tons of it. It's a very illustrious World War II career. She fired the first salvo of D-Day, so the liberation of Europe started with that warship. She was also part of the Royal Navy flotilla that sank the Scharnhorst. It was one of Germany's most dangerous surface vessels. And she was a mainstay of the Russian Arctic convoys. Those big naval guns, they're 6 inches, they can fire a shell 12 miles. And bizarrely enough, they are aimed at something. Those guns are aimed at the Watford Gap service station on the M1 just outside London. Quite why? I have no idea. The service station food isn't great, but I think that's a bit drastic, to be honest. As the name suggests, she was built in Belfast. She was built at the same yard the Titanic was built in. She had a rather longer, more successful career than the Titanic.
They always pretend to be, you know, like looking in the right.
As befits a ship that was built in Belfast, she was launched on St Patrick's Day in 1938. Over to our left there we have the Tower of London. Now the oldest part of the Tower of London is that square building there. It's got a weather vane on all 4 corners. That's known as the White Tower. And the White Tower was built around about 925 years ago by William the Conqueror after a successful conquest of England in 1066. As you can see, the White Tower has been greatly added over the centuries. Bricks of walls, towers and turrets. It's what we now call a large concentric castle. There's many ghosts. It has the ghost of a polar bear. back in the 15th century, the King of Norway gave the King of England a polar bear, as you do, I suppose. They said, let it swim out here, presumably on a leash. But it is supposed to hold the ground of the tower. And they said, well, I told them it's a good idea to wave at people on the bridges. This is Tower Bridge Road project. It's a good idea to wave at people in. As there's an old sailor's legend that says, if you're on a boat or a ship and you wave at someone on Tower Bridge, if they wave back, you and everyone on the boat will acquire 5 years good luck. So let's see if our luck's in. It's rather, there we go. Yeah, not bad. It's very the very grey day, not bad. Now those who wish to take photographs, give me a bit of a heads up. We're about to do a bit of a U-turn. That's going to give you great angles of the Tower Bridge, as will be parallel to the bridge for a short while, which means we'll have great angles. Despite appearances, by London standards, Tower Bridge is not particularly old. It was opened in 1894 by the then Prince of Wales, and everyone else to become Edward VII. Because where it's built, Tower Bridge is what we call a combined suspension and bascule bridge. The word bascule comes from French. The two bascules are the parts of the central span that can be raised or lowered. Each one of those bascules weighs around about 1,200 tons. But with modern equipment, you press a button, the central span rises in about 90 seconds. Now, if you are lucky enough to be the owner of a luxury super yacht, two things. First of all, can we be friends? Secondly, if you want to visit London, they'll raise the central span absolutely for free. All you have to do is give them at least 24 hours notice when you want to come through. They raise the central span free. Because London used to be the biggest, busiest port in the world, river traffic always takes precedence over road traffic. And the overflow of volume is super. To your right, you see that water's coming up the
तो ये था हमारा क्रूज का सारा सफ़र जो मैंने आपको दिखाया। टिकट की बात करें तो lastminute.com से हमने टिकट बुक किया था। इसका टिकट ऑलमोस्ट 10 पाउंड का है, लेकिन हमें थोड़ा सा डिस्काउंट मिला था। हमने ये जो वाली भाई है हमारे, इन्होंने ये इम्प्लाई रेट पे हमें 20% डिस्काउंट मिला था। तो ये था सारा